A 17-year-old girl who was locked up in a warehouse by her mistress in the Sherry area of Lagos has been rescued by the police. The girl, who identified herself as Blessing, told Channels Television that her boss locked her after she decided to stop working for her as a domestic help. Our correspondent, Victoria Ido, has the rest of the story.
Behind this gate is a young girl who has been locked up for over 24 hours. How long have you been here? Who put you here? Reasons why she was locked is still unknown. We're trying to get her, she calls her a madam, and to find out exactly why she locked her up in this place. We don't know exactly the reasons why she has been locked up, but we're going to find out. It's obviously not a prison yard, but the girl who identifies herself as Blessing has been confined to this warehouse by her mistress, simply identified as Mrs. Mary Ido. Blessing says she's been working with Mrs. Ido for the past 6 months as a domestic help, but then decided to leave when she could not bear the treatment melted on her. Why she can't lock you for here?
It's because I say I'm tired.
That's why since when she can't lock you for here?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning?
Yes, ma.
She locked you for inside this tile shop?
Yes, ma.
You don't chop?
No, ma.
Since when so she don't give you food before she lock you?
Yes, ma.
Where she can't go when she lock you?
She go church.
The situation leaves everyone here baffled, including this woman who had spotted Blessing through the window the night before. Mama, which time you see him yesterday?
Yesterday night, around 12, how this would do here, this Oga would do yesterday.
Now you even buy food for her?
Now me buy food for her yesterday. Sorry, yeah.
The eyewitnesses contemplate on whether or not to open the gate.
If you want drag me, I go call them, they will come and cross you. I will call them. I want to break that door, come on.
While that was on, Mrs. Mary Ido will put a call through to her staff. Apparently, someone had given her a hint about our presence here.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Benny.
Moments later, the police arrive. After introducing myself, the police insist I should stop recording. So I tried to steal a shot of the girl being taken away, but not until I got an assurance from them that they would get to the root of the matter and bring Mrs. Mary Ido for questioning. And this they did shortly after, as confirmed by the police.
After receiving the report, we sent our operatives to the scene where the girl was rescued and brought to the station. The woman who locked her up there too also was arrested. She's in our custody now.
The situation again brings to the fore the issue of child abuse and the need for the government and other concerned citizens to make efforts to end the trend. Victoria Ido, Channels Television News.
A pathetic situation indeed. But outside our shores, President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the amended Deep Offshore Act in London, stating that Nigeria will now receive its fair, rightful and equitable share of income from the country's natural resources. A statement from the presidency quotes President Buhari as saying, "Today is an important day for all Nigerians, but particularly the young generation." He adds that a combination of complicity by Nigerian politicians and foot-dragging by oil companies has for more than a quarter century conspired to keep taxes to the barest minimum above $20 per barrel, even though the price is 3 times the value. With the signing, the statement adds that for the first time under the amended law, 200 million Nigerians will receive a fair return on the excess resources, while more income will allow for better infrastructure and more jobs. The Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, was with him when he signed the act. In the meantime, the federal government has been given the conditions for the reopening of the nation's border. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama, told journalists in Abuja that all warehouses on the border between Nigeria and other West African countries must be shut down. Mr. Onyama adds that all ECOWAS countries must respect rules of origin, vowing that Nigeria will no longer tolerate repackaging of imported goods. He explains that goods coming into the country must have 50% local input for the country of origin, who must be an ECOWAS country.
On the transportation of goods within ECOWAS and across borders, we will now insist on proper recognized packaging of those goods. No longer will we have, goods, all shapes and sizes, just going through the borders. We're going to have an accepted conditions for the packaging of goods that will be transported by road across our borders. Goods produced predominantly produced in ECOWAS member states, the rules of origin must be satisfied. So we have to avoid any possibility of dumping. So if goods are produced in ECOWAS member states, those goods must be in majority produced in those countries. Or if they are coming from outside ECOWAS, the value addition made by an ECOWAS country must be over 50%. We absolutely insist on the dismantling of all the warehouses along our common borders. So no longer will we accept anybody coming into the country through land borders with anything other than recognized passports.
And at the National Assembly, the governor of the central bank has failed to appear before the Senate Committee on Finance to explain the reason behind the exchange rates used for some key projects under the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. On Sunday, the committee invited Mr. Godwin Emefiele to appear before it today, November the 4th, but instead, he sent the Deputy Governor of Operations, Mr. Adebisi Shonubi. Committee members refused to allow the CBN Deputy Governor address them, insisting that Mr. Emefiele must appear before them on Wednesday, November the 6th.
They read the letter to his hearing. That shows, even by way of proper representation, he has not been given the opportunity to have a proper briefing about why he should go ahead and represent the governor of Central Bank. And this is the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the highest lawmaking body in the country. We have invited the Central Bank for the last 1 week. The information was enough, at least for the Senate to go to the governor of Central Bank and take adequate steps to ensure that he is present at today's occasion. And secondly, there is no formal letter from the governor of Central Bank giving us excuses as to why he will not be appearing before us today. Maybe if such letter have come, we will have accept the fact that yes, either I come by way of representative or we reschedule the meeting. In the absence of all of this, I think it is only right and proper for us to turn down the idea of allowing the deputy governor to represent him by way and manner in which he has arrived here today. So I want to say it, sir, that majority of our colleagues have said the deputy governor or this meeting be rescheduled for another date, and we will give a very little window for which the governor of the central bank and his team will reappear before this committee alongside with the Nigeria Investment Sovereignty Authority.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advised state governments to invest in agricultural revolution programs as a way of generating revenue from the country's most viable non-oil sector. The former president made a call in Gwa East local government area in Benue State. That was shortly after the foundation laying ceremony in Makodi Catholic School for children with special needs.
It's a celebratory mood as former President Olusegun gets a warm welcome from the people of Igbo, a community in Gwe East local government area of Benue State. The former president is here to lay the foundation of the Makurdi Catholic Diocesan Special School for Children living with disabilities.
A very simple ceremony, but very symbolic.
The Catholic Bishop of Makurdi Diocese reminds leaders of the need to support the vulnerable groups in society, particularly in the areas of education and agriculture.
We need to give them the sense of meaning, the sense of understanding, the sense of belonging. And the former president made it very clear that our society is too materialistic that we forget those who are not useful to us immediately, but they have life in them, and that life must be upheld. For us in the church, from the cradle to the grave, birth to death, life is valuable and meaningful. And so we have to do this.
In response, Chief Obasanjo stresses the need for states to invest in agriculture as a way of moving away from over-dependence on crude oil because of its non-renewable nature.
The oil that you take from the ground today is gone and gone forever. But land where you produce food is a renewable resource. The land you use today, you fertilize it, you use it next year. In fact, it will probably produce better next year. And I believe that one of the things that we must be emphasizing in this state and in all states is there's no alternative to agriculture.
The August visitors' itinerary also includes a tour of the state's 140-hectare mango nursery farm. He is accompanied by the governor, Samuel Otom, who commends the impact of the federal government's decision to close the border.
The border closure have also yielded results. For us, we're not looking at the nitty-gritty or whatever. We're looking at what benefit we farmers are getting in Benue State today. Our sack of 100 kg rice that used to go for 9,000, 10,000 is going for 16,000. And I think that is a plus for an average farmer in Benue State.
According to the state governor, improved security in the state means investors are guaranteed of not only a conducive environment to operate, but an opportunity to translate the state's abundant agricultural resources into numerous agro-allied businesses.